Alright, everybody, so today is August 10th, 2018, and I'm just going to do a quick little morning recap for you guys before I head out for the day. Going to Reno to hot August nights, so I want to get out this quick lesson for everyone. AWX going on a massive rip and run because of earnings. Let me just bring up AWX's news real fast. You can see they released earnings last night, and they had apparently good earnings. So, if you guys don't know about AWX, this is a recent runner. This ran 2 weeks ago from around $2 up to $21, a massive move. And it's ever since then has really lost all of its gains and dropped down to 250. So, going into AWX this morning, it did have a gap up in pre-market. But the main thing that I was thinking was that I didn't want to trade this right out of the market open, because we have seen time and time again that these pre-market gappers on news usually have a very nice gap up in pre-market, but then at market open they just sell off and collapse and go into a morning dip. That's what I was thinking was going to happen with AWX, and even if it did break out, I didn't want to buy the breakout, mainly because we have seen, like I said, time and time again, that even if we do have a breakout, it becomes a fake out breakout. It breaks out for like half a second and then collapses right on back down. But that didn't happen with AWX. This one opened up, squeezed up right through the resistance at the $4.86 level, and has rallied up to 570. So why do we have resistance at 586, or the 486? Sorry. Well, one, we have this little area right here acted as resistance, but the reason why it acted as resistance is because of this point. So you can see right at the pre-market open, saw that it popped up to around that level, and this essentially turned into a big flat top wedge kind of. So yeah, we had that very big breakout on massive volume. So if we were confident in buying these morning breakouts, then that would have been a very obvious buy point. And a lot of people in my chat room also nailed this today. Let me just go over some trades real fast. We have Mike made a grand of Kevin, $340, and we have Tim made $530. We also had Steven made $300. So all in all, you know, even though I didn't place this trade, I'm glad that my students in my chat room were able to, you know, make their own plan and trade it anyways. So, you know, I'm proud that they were able to do it. Unfortunately, I didn't have the willingness to jump into these trades, but it just didn't seem like it was worth the risk. So we had AWX do the morning spike, break out of the 487 mark, and then hit 570. Did this nice pullback, and the main thing with this pullback is that it held above the 20 EMA, it held above VWAP, and it held above all the other indicators that we use, and that shows lots of strength. Whenever we see a pullback hold and use the 20 EMA as its support, that is usually a very strong pullback, and it will usually do a very nice breakout afterwards. But the main thing is that what I was looking for going into today was a play just like my IFMK play, like my ABIL play, and my HMNY play this week, where we essentially have a morning spike, we pull back, and then we make like a cup and handle pattern, and we buy that breakout at like 11:30 a.m. AWX only pulled back for like 5 minutes. So even though this was a massive pop in volume, the main thing I was concerned about was, one, we already did a huge gap up in pre-market, and we did a huge morning spike. The risk of having a fake out breakout was too high for me. So once again, I didn't buy this breakout at 570. And of course, it just rips right on through, and it just squeezes up to nearly $6.50. So all in all, a very nice run. It didn't do what I expected it to do, but overall, it's great that we're having AWX do this big squeeze because it shows that our market is, reheating. Like I said, the past month has been very, very slow, but the past 5 days have been a lot better. We're seeing a lot more follow through, we're seeing a lot more breakouts, and we're seeing a lot more potential for trading. So going into next week, I will be more inclined to buy these early morning breakouts, but of course, I will use less size and be more conservative with my trade right in the morning, and then as we go into the late morning, I will be a lot more willing to use larger size. So the main thing with the morning, guys, is that it's very volatile. If you are a new trader, I highly recommend that if you do trade in the morning, use a lot less risk. And of course, I would always recommend paper trading if you're not experienced enough. But as it goes into later in the morning and later into the trading day, you can kind of increase your share size and increase your risk, mainly because we do see that the later in the day is, the less volatility there is overall. So all in all, very nice run on AWX. Now after this huge rip up to 650, I was looking to have this hold the support at 570, because then it would look a lot more like IFMK and this cup and handle pattern. But also the main thing that is different about these two charts is that over here, after this big crack at 10:04, we went below the 20 EMA. So as you can see here, all morning the 20 EMA was acting as support. Well, now after this pullback, it's acting as resistance, which is a bad sign, because if it acts as resistance, we're going to have a lot of selling pressure as it gets up to that line. If I pull up this IFMK chart again, you can see that within this pullback, it was acting as support, and that's why it was able to curl up and higher. But because we had it acting as resistance, it had, essentially a huge weight pulling it on down. That's why I did not want to buy this dip. After it broke that support, I left it alone. I didn't want to trade anything else. I knew that it would just keep on falling down because it was up so much, Right here in the $6 range, it was up like 130%, which is very overextended, especially considering that it was only half hour after the market opened. So I knew that I had to have the sell-off and the pullback, and I didn't want to trade it. Everything else had no spikes. AWX was the only thing that ran. So no trades today. That's just fine. Overall this week, I'm up over $2,000, which is great. I took no trades yesterday, no trades today. And we'll see if I have to take a trade on Monday. If not, that's just fine. I would rather not have the risk of losing money if there's no A quality setup. Alright guys, so hopefully you guys enjoy this quick little video lesson. If you do, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next lesson.